Hey, everybody. Welcome to LettermenRow.com. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This is Bermanology. We are talking to Ohio State recruiting targets from around the country. Today, we're talking to Caleb Downs, the country's #2 ranked safety in the class of 2023, and a player that's very high on the Ohio State recruiting board. Been looking forward to getting Caleb on the show for a while, so let's get to it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Caleb Downs is here. Caleb, thanks for joining the show. How are you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really, really well. Getting ready to really dive into the football season here. You guys have already started down there in Georgia. How were the first couple of weeks for you at Mill Creek?
Our team looked good. We look really good this year, so really excited to get back on the field, be playing as well as I am right now. So yeah.
How did this summer make you better? How did it make your team better? What was it like going from last year to this year, kind of getting back to normal, I guess?
Well, last year was hard because our team didn't really get to gel. We didn't get to spend a lot of time together in the summer because of COVID. But this year, knowing that we all got to come back together and spend time with each other made it great so that we can come and play in the fall.
You had a chance this summer to get on the road quite a bit. You camped around the country, saw a lot of schools. How important was that for you as you head into this new segment of your recruitment? Obviously, September 1st has happened. It's an opportunity for all these schools to now officially talk to you, but you had a chance to at least see a lot of the top schools on your board. Was there anything that stood out, and how did that impact where you're going from here?
There was a lot that stood out, but mostly the summer was just telling me what schools that I wanted to go back to this fall. So all the schools that I really liked this summer and liked talking to, I'll try to get back to them this fall and see what their game atmosphere is like.
Obviously, the recruiting process, the entire system isn't new to you. Your brother Josh went through it a few years ago. He's one of those guys that a lot of people are predicting to be a breakout star at North Carolina this year. Your father went through the recruiting process, certainly different back in the old days than it is now. But, did you get a sense of how to handle this from your brother? And where did you learn the most from watching him go through this experience?
Well, our experiences are different, but I definitely learned a lot from when I would go on his visits and learning what's true and what's not true about schools and what's just everybody says that. So it's good to know from him and my pops, just what to actually listen for, what makes schools different from each other. That's what it really was.
Obviously, every school has those buzzwords they use. They got these key terms they try to throw around on their visits. But like you said, you may have a better sense of what's fake and what's not, I guess.
Yeah.
For you, obviously, Ohio State is who we cover at Lettermen Row, so we'll start there. You did visit Ohio State at the end of June. You had that first opportunity to really meet Kerry Combs and Matt Barnes, Ryan Day, those guys in person. Had a chance to hang out with your guy, Jordan Hancock, who was vital in getting Ohio State linked up with you to get that offer out. What was that visit? What was different about Ohio State than some of the other places you visited? I know they're all great, but how do you look back on that and say, hey, that's what I really liked about that trip?
What I really liked was that they had it was a business atmosphere, but they did it in a family manner. When we talked to Coach Day, he said, it's not just a want to win here. We need to win, but we still have fun with it. We still love our guys and all that stuff. So that was a big difference to me, the way he explained what Ohio State football is about.
You're one of the earliest guys in your class that was offered by Ohio State, especially in the defensive backfield. One of the earlier guys that Matt Barnes identified as sort of a player he wanted. A lot of people don't really get a chance to know much about Matt Barnes. What's been your impression of him as a recruiter, and now that you've had a chance to get to know him a bit?
Football guru, just someone that loves the game, loves to learn about the game. Anything he can soak up about the game that's what he's going to do. And then off the field, he's a great person to learn from. And it seems like if you wanted him to learn about anything in life, he could find a way to learn for it. So,
have you had a chance to talk to Jordan since he got on campus? About what the difference is at Ohio State between recruiting and now? What has he said to you about that? I know you guys are still close.
Basically, he just talked about how Ohio State's like some schools are in the middle of nowhere sometimes, but Ohio State's like it's in a city, so it's a different feel, and just the people there are very good and very different. So yeah.
As a kid from the Atlanta area, and does that matter? I mean, do you have a sense of that you want that big city atmosphere as you look down the road? Obviously, you're looking at schools like Alabama and Clemson, which are not in that same type of vibe. Georgia is obviously a little bit away from Atlanta, but not too far. I mean, what do you think that matters the most to you about that kind of stuff?
Really, it's just the people that I'm around every day. So,
well, is there a sense?
As long as I can get along with the people I'm around, it won't be a big problem. But either way,
what is your, what type of person are you? I mean, what are you looking for in a coach? You looking for someone that's kind of high strung, blah blah blah? You looking for that laid back thing, kind of a mix? What is it that you kind of find yourself drawn to?
Someone that knows everything about on the field, but cares about me off the field, that makes me want to play for them.
I remember watching you during the camp at Ohio State, and one of your first reps, Matt Barnes, was yelling to Paul Rhodes. He said, put it on the teach tape, because whatever you did, it's well beyond my expertise. You must have done fairly well. What kind of education did you get at camps this summer? How did you become a better football player going around and visiting Ohio State, visiting Alabama, Georgia? How did you find yourself getting better?
Just hearing people's different perspectives, learning different defenses that people run. It gives you like different views on what your school does and what you could do, what can make you better, and what training habits can help you in each system.
I know that you have, looking ahead to this fall, at least 3 visits scheduled. I know you're going to go to the Clemson, Georgia game, Alabama, and I think Notre Dame to see your brother, correct?
Notre Dame. Well, I'm going to Notre Dame to see Notre Dame, but my brother's playing there.
Right, they're playing North Carolina, right?
Yeah, I just got off the phone like an hour ago with Coach Barnes talking about how I'm going to go to the Ohio State-Oregon game. So I'll be up there in 2 weeks.
Okay. I mean, that's obviously going to be a big one. You guys have, when you go to a game, I mean, you've been to games, you've been around a lot more than some of the other kids in your class. What are you looking for in a game day environment at a college?
Well, for me on game days, I'm real. I wouldn't say, but like I'm trying to be as I can. So just for the players and just on the field, how everybody's acting. But just learning how the campus vibe is.
I think it's interesting for the average person who goes to a football game. They're looking at player catch ball, player run, player score, right? Like when you're going and you have to see things from a more complicated point of view, is there a coaching style that you're like, okay, I want to see this coach do this, or I want to see this player do this? I mean, what role do you see yourself playing in these defenses down the road?
What role? I would say, well, I'd say a leadership role that knows everyone's technique. And I see myself as like a coach on the field. So I want to know what everybody's doing. I want to try to learn what everybody's doing, teach what everybody's doing. So if the coach can't see something, then I see it. And if I see a coach on the field that I'm watching, if I see them doing that, then it's just like, okay, that's a check in the box.
You have, I think, 30 offers. You're the number 1 ranked safety in the country, according to 247 Sports, number 2, according to the composite ranking. I don't know who's ahead of you. I don't care. 30 offers speaks for itself, obviously. What does it mean to you to just have this sort of spotlight on you? I mean, I know you were ready for this. You were someone that people talked about even before you were in high school. You've gone into Mill Creek. You've lived up to that. But do you feel any sort of pressure at this point, Caleb, to keep elevating, or how do you get better from here?
Really, to me, I don't focus on what other people say about me, really. So I just try to, I never get satisfied about myself, about where I'm at. So to me, every play I make, I could have done it better. So that's just the way I live my life, and that's the way I'm going to keep doing what I do. So,
Who's the defensive back that you've watched over the years that you model your game after? I know you're your own player, but there's someone obviously that shaped who you are. Who is it?
well, the past few years, I watched a lot of Charles Woodson, even though he went to Michigan. Charles Woodson, that's a player that I can see that I would say is very, very good.
He was very, very good.
He was very, very good.
He's one of the best players I ever saw growing up in Ohio. He's from Ohio, so when he decided to head north to Ann Arbor, it was one of those moments that people around here, I think, still look back on with some,
with some hate, yeah,
with some finger biting. As you start to look ahead, how do you see this recruiting process going for you? I mean, are you one of these, hey, I want to wait till an All-American game to make a decision? Is it whenever I'm ready, I'm ready? I mean, how do you see this transpiring?
I see myself as after this season, I'll really just be focused on that, on finding out what I'll have it narrowed down, but I'll figure out which of the few schools I'm looking at will have what I need. And it'll probably be next summer or around the next start of next season.
So take official visits in the spring and summer and hopefully lock it down before your senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you intend to enroll early? Have you started to look that far ahead?
I will be enrolling early wherever I go. I've already said that to my high school. So, yep.
How hard is that decision? I mean, to look ahead and say, hey, guys, I guess it's different because in football, at least you get to play all 4 years. Even if you enroll early, it's not like basketball or baseball where you'd have to leave your teammates. But I imagine that you still get a sense of, hey, I'm missing my senior prom and this and that and the other thing, right?
Well, my brother did it. So his thing was, my mom made it her thing that if he's going to enroll early, he still has to come back for prom and graduation. So, I mean, that got cut off by COVID, but that was the plan for him. And I'm sure she's going to do that the same thing for me. So,
got to sign a contract.
Yeah. She made the school that he went to say that too. So,
well, I mean, it's good to have boundaries, right? I mean, that's the whole thing in this recruiting process. What's been the hardest thing for you to navigate? And I'll let you get out of here on that. I know this process can be extremely overwhelming, but what has been the hardest thing for you to deal with so far?
Just to stay true to who I am, not to buy into all the stories, all the stuff people be saying is just like, all right, that's great and all, but at the end of the day, I still got to play, still got to produce on the field. So stay locked in. Mm-hmm.
I've heard coaches tell me in the past that what they think that the interesting thing is that recruiting can really show them who someone is once other teams start to like them and they start to see their names on Twitter and in the articles and columns and stuff, that people sort of change. And so I think it's a pretty mature thing to recognize that you can't let it change you. People are going to try to find a reason to hang on to you for the rest of your life. You may as well be comfortable shaking them loose right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, look, man, we will see you in Columbus in 2 weeks. I thank you for taking some time and joining us on Lettermen Row. It's been a wild couple months for everyone on the recruiting trail, and I'm sure you're ready to focus in on football in your junior year. So good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate
That's Caleb Downs. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Bermanology on Lettermen Row. Thanks for watching.